Welcome back. This is the Can't Lose Show. I'm your host, Trent, and we talk Niners football here. We talk NFL, and we're going to have special guests Justin and Dylan on for the Rams Niners game. We're going to be talking the rivalry, the atmosphere, and that's later down in the episode. For now, I want to start with what we've learned, top 5 things after week 2 in the NFL. And I'll start off first with number one, the Ravens aren't as good as we originally thought they were gonna be this season. Meaning, I had high expectations for them. They should have been 2-0 on my preseason game alerts, like looking at the games in their schedule and being like, yeah, they'll be 2-0 heading into week 3. They're 0-2. Of course, nail biters, don't get me wrong. You played Kansas City and then you play the Raiders. Raiders, you should have taken care of business. Kansas City is Kansas City. I understand that. But being 0-2, the history is just not on your side to make the playoffs. And I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. It's only week 2. Maybe that's an overreaction, but that's one thing I've learned. Number 2, Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh are going to be special in this league, meaning they have what it takes. Jim Harbaugh's coaching abilities, I've said it and I'll keep saying it. When he was with the Niners, I loved him as a coach. He was very aggressive but smart. He understood the locker room. He understands the winning culture. When he went to Michigan, same thing, winning a national championship. And then just pairing him with Justin Herbert, who's an elite quarterback. I understand his stats haven't really proved it just because the Chargers haven't been good. But with Jim Harbaugh getting there, I don't see this train slowing down. So I see Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert being something special in the near future. Number 3, something that I could take away from these 2 weeks. Lions may not make the playoffs. I know that's a stretch, but after this week against the Bucks, this is a game the Lions would have won last year. The grittiness, the toughness, not giving up, that's a game they pull out in last year's NFL season. The fact that they didn't pull out this dub, it kind of reverts back to previous year's Lions when the Lions were the same old Lions. And it's just, there's something I could see. Number 4, and I think everyone will agree with me. I think even himself would agree with me. Is Patrick Mahomes is beloved by the refs. It is insane the amount of calls he gets. Am I saying that last call in the final drive was not a pass interference? No, but they're damn sure not going to miss it. They're not going to not call a pass interference. It was a pass interference. Don't get me wrong, but other calls, the fact that he's had 16 interceptions overturned by a ref throwing a flag is just it's it doesn't look good for the league. And if that's the case, just hand them the next Super Bowl and say they three-peated at this point and save everyone from injuries. Number 4. Oh, that was number 4. My bad. Number 5. And kind of piggybacking off the last statement, Niners and Chiefs have a seriously good chance of rematching in the Super Bowl. I understand the Niners are coming off a loss this past week, but it's every team loses. And no one's going to go perfect unless you're the Dolphins that one year. But the Niners, I could see things that are looking bright for the team. And I definitely see things that we need to fix. Don't get me wrong. And same with the Chiefs. They have a lot of good things going, and there's definitely things they could work on and get better. But the fact that they have the 2 best offensive coaches in the league is just going to set them apart from others. And through 2 weeks of football, it's just, I'm getting those vibes again. So we'll see. Niners, Chiefs, Super Bowl rematch. Let's jump to the next segment here. And we're looking back at our picks from week 2 in the NFL. You guys already know we pick our dogs, our matchups, and our game of the week. And from last week, I picked Kyler Murray to be a dog. It wasn't expected from much of the media for the Arizona Cardinals to host the Rams and get a dub. But I was like, nah, nah, nah. Kyler Murray has been doing something special. Coming out of college, he was supposed to be a superstar, and I'm not saying he wasn't, but definitely in Arizona, just things weren't adding up. The team wasn't the best, but I see a bright future for Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. led Cardinals, and that showed this week. He played like a dog. 17 of 21, that's 81%, and 266 yards with 3 total touchdowns, finding Marvin Harrison Jr. for 2 of those. What a special connection they have there. Um, for now, the Cardinals, Kyler Murray, are a force to be reckoned with. I'm not hyping on a train that or hopping on a train that they're going to make the playoffs by any means, but they look damn good right now, and he definitely lived up to that dog mentality right there. Our matchup: Pat Surtain versus George Pickens. I was not impressed with this matchup at all. It's probably because the quarterback situation. It's not really figured out in Denver. Or it's not really figured out in Pittsburgh. So trying to get George Pickens the ball is just not really gonna happen. Pat Surtain, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not gonna give a winner on this matchup, and hopefully I pick a better matchup moving forward. The game of the week definitely lived up to the hype. Bucks Lions. Um, and I touched on it at the beginning of the episode. The Lions dropping this game, it's gonna hurt them. The Bucks winning this game is definitely gonna help them. I think Baker Mayfield led Bucks. It gives them life after this win. It gives them hope for this season. I don't think anyone really had high expectations for the Bucks um, after losing pieces and stuff. It's just, yeah, I don't know, but the Bucks definitely should use this momentum to carry them in this beginning half of the season for sure. Niner fans. Let me put my glasses on for this one. It was brutal. It was brutal. Our special teams is our weakest link for sure. I can't stress it enough. I don't know if it's our coach, the players on special teams. I don't know if we just don't have enough depth to make our special teams better, but it's going to be our Achilles heel this year. Blocked punt and a muffed punt when on return. You can't have those if you want to win a game. You may be able to have one and get away with it, but two, no, you're just putting yourself in a deeper hole. And it was ugly on our special teams. Which led to our offense kind of being a little sloppy to start the game. We got in our groove, but a little too late. We definitely need our superstars to be superstars. Meaning Brandon Ayuk, I understand he got off to a slow start, and it could be to do with missing training camp. People are going to argue that. Again, I don't know. I think that connection definitely gets better as the season goes on with Brock Purdy, but we just we didn't have that like it factor on enough assets of the ball in the game this week. Fred Warner, though, however, was a definite spotlight. Um, our biggest win of the day for sure is Fred Warner's play style, his ability to create turnovers. He forced a fumble, he got a pick, he had a sack, he had what else did he have? He had 9 tackles. Um, Dude's a dog, and that's why he is my favorite 49er at the moment. I understand I'm a quarterback guy, but seeing him fly around on the defense, there's nothing like it in the rest of the NFL. And we got to start talking Hall of Fame career for this dude. So we'll dive into that more next week. I want to keep this episode going, especially so we don't keep our guests waiting too long. Um, but yeah, that was a great bright point in the game. Another bright point in the game was Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason A lot of people didn't expect much from him when they heard the news Christian McCaffrey's going to IR. But to step in and do what he's doing, second weekend, everyone's like, oh, he just had a crazy game last week. He's not ever going to repeat that. Jordan Mason broke 100 yards again this week and found himself in the end zone. He's playing like a top 10 running back in the league. I don't know exactly where you put him on the list, but I would give him top 10 in the league for running back at the moment based on his 2 weeks. He's up there in rush yards, so why not? Guys, it's about time. All right, guys, we got Justin and Dylan on the call. Glad to have you guys. I went to school with them. It was well, Justin, I went to school with him since like third grade, I believe. Dylan, we met in high school, and our paths crossed, and I knew they were Rams fans. I had to get them on the call for this week. So welcome, Justin and Dylan.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Let's let's just start it off with a little bit of background on this game. How did you guys become Ram fans? And I guess if you don't answer it in this question, how long have you been Rams fan?
Who goes first?
Whoever wants to talk first.
All right, I'll go first. So, I actually started out when I watched football. I was about 8. I actually was a Jets fan. I found a Sports Illustrated magazine, and there's a poster of Mark Sanchez in there, and he had the same birthday as me. So, well, I was a Jets fan from the time I was about 8 to about 13. And then when I was 13, my dad took me to my first Rams game in Arizona. And since then, I've been a pretty big Rams fan. So,
Okay, okay. That's a good background. Justin, how about you?
Yeah, I'm a Rams fan. Like my dad. My dad's been a Rams fan since the Rams were in Anaheim. So the first time that they were in California, he had season tickets back then. And obviously, I wasn't even born then. But when they moved to St. Louis, he was really sad, but he stayed loyal. He was still a Rams fan, even though they were a team from St. Louis. And then when they moved back to California, he was like super happy. And then we've gone to a couple games every season that they've been back. We even went to a game in the Coliseum, and they were there before the SoFi was built. And we already have a couple games planned for on our calendar. We're going to like 2 games this year, I think we got. So just since my dad's a Rams fan, it's something we've been able to bond over, and yeah, we love watching the Rams together.
Oh yeah, those are two cool stories how you guys got to be a Rams fan. I think Justin, we're in similar boats, just different teams. I don't know if I've told the people that listen to this podcast how I became a Niners fan, so I'll touch on that. My dad, he was a huge Niners fan, and he got to experience all the Super Bowls that the Niners have brought to the fan base, and it just kept him being a Niners fan. And when I was born, one of the very first outfits I was put into was a Niners outfit. So I don't think I was going to get out of being a Niners fan. And I'm glad it worked out that way because the Niners are just an exciting football team to watch. And now I have a podcast dedicated to the Niners and the NFL as a whole. And it's good to be here. If we're on season 3, I know I was texting Dylan and he was like, dang, that's crazy that you guys are already in season 3. It's gone by fast. It's been a good time and we got our listeners building up. So it's good, and we're here, right? So um, now that we got the background of our history of our fan base, let's dive into this game. It's an exciting one. It's a rivalry for sure. Um, for you Rams fans, it's not your favorite rivalry as of late, except for the NFC Championship game, the game that mattered the most, of course. Um, the Niners, I'll just give you guys a brief history. Since you guys moved to LA, you guys have not beat us in LA besides the NFC Championship game. So, with that being said, you guys have to have some guys that are going to go off. I like to refer to those as dogs. Um, who is your guys' offensive dog going to be for this game? Justin, since you're wearing an offensive jersey and Cooper Cup, let's get your offensive dog first.
Yeah, I think Tutu Atwell is going to go off, obviously, without Nakua and Cup being core pieces. Someone's got to take on the load, and I think it's really going to be him. He's really fast. He can come from the slot, and I mean he's a deep threat as well. So I can see him sort of going short, and then once they're covering him short, then they'll just throw a long ball. And then honestly, a lot of his game is going to stem from the running game going solid because then it's just going to open up the passing game for him. But I think Tutu Atwell is definitely going to be one of the receivers that steps up, and he's going to be a dog this week for sure.
Yeah, I could see that very well being true. His speed is unmatched. A lot of guys in the league aren't going to touch his speed, which is a key factor in that. Dylan, what about you?
I like our rookie we took this year, Jordan Whittington. I think
Okay.
he's gonna get a lot more targets this week with Cup and Puka both out. I loved what I was hearing about him in camp. He looked really solid. Looked a little bit like Puka and Cooper Cup, to be honest. Not super fast, but very good route runner. I think him and Stafford are gonna connect this week, and I like him to go over 5 receptions this week.
Okay. Do you have a yards estimate on that one?
Um, I think we're gonna get over 80 yards from him this week, which I think would be pretty solid.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's solid for a rookie. I definitely see him as a form of a Nakua type deal. Um, I'm hoping his yard for your guys' sake. Obviously, I'm not hoping anything for the Rams. But for your guys' sake, the yards after the catch is a factor for him. I get to see it in
Definitely.
a lot of my Niners, but if he could be a yak bro for the Rams, I think you guys definitely got a steal in that draft pick for sure. So yeah, I like what I heard from you guys. My offensive dog coming from the Niners side has to be Brandon Ayuk. Not sure if you guys watched the first two 49er games, but after signing a $30 million contract, he's kind of been piss poor, not really being worth $30 million. But I also think that's kind of a slow start because he missed training camp. And you got to build that connection as a wide receiver with your quarterback. And I think this game, he really catches stride and explodes on a Rams defense. So I gotta have him as my dog of the week, and I think he'll find the end zone twice this week. That's kind of what I'm guessing. Um, I don't know if you guys have any input on that, but let's get into our defensive dog. Um, defensive dog. This really could be coming from any position. It could be a corner that's going to lock up a guy and hold all his receivers to zero catches with a couple pass breakups. It could be an edge guy. For me, my defensive dog this week is going to be Nick Bosa. I called it last week when I said he will be the defensive dog against Minnesota and find Sam Darnold twice, and he did exactly that. He had 2 sacks on the day, and this week I'm gonna guess he has 2 sacks because your guys' offensive line is so banged up. I understand you guys got your left tackle back this week from suspension, but you guys also lost, I believe, 2 offensive linemen this from the past game and then one from the previous game. So you guys are down to 2 starters, I believe, on the line. So I think Nick Bosa definitely takes advantage of that. Um, Dylan, since you have a defensive jersey and Aaron Donald, let's go you for your defensive dog first.
So for my defensive dog, I actually also wrote down Nick Bosa, even being a Rams fan.
Okay.
But I'll throw out, and I do like the 2 sacks. I think with the line as banged up as it is right now, um, it's going to be tough to stop that guy on Sunday. But on the Rams side of the ball, I really like Jared Verse. I think what he's done in his first couple games with the Rams, he's really fun to watch. He's been all over the place. He's just bringing such a high energy every time he plays. So I really like him to get the job done this week.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Justin, do you see that being true for your Rams player? And then also, who do you have as your defensive dog?
Yeah, no, I agree with Dylan for sure. And I think another big piece of the defense this week is going to be Quentin Lake. He's one of our safeties. He's also one of our captains. And I think that there's also some of the secondary that's hurt, so he's gonna not only gonna have to take some of the load with the tackles and helping coverage, being the safety, but last week he had double digit tackles, and then I think he might even lead the team in total tackles. So he's gonna have to dog up both like in coverage and in tackles, and he's also gonna have to step up as just being a leader and being one of those vocal guys, which he already is for the most part. But he's gonna have to emphasize that role this week. So even if you don't see a crazy stat line like interceptions, things of that nature, or batted balls, you're gonna see it with him talking to his guys and being one of those veteran presence, helping out the guys. But I also expect him to get double digit tackles this week.
Yeah, that's huge. Being, growing up playing football, playing sports just in general, having that veteran, that older leadership in the locker room, on the field, it's something that there's no awards for it at the end of the year, but it makes a huge difference. And even like you said, if he doesn't have a great stat line, that's going to be huge for them. And then them letting the offense flow to them. Yeah, maybe the D line's not making the tackles, but him cleaning it up, that's his role. And if he plays good, you're right, that could be your defensive dog this week. Next is our matchup. I've had some crazy matchups last year with Josh picking some matchups. We went coach versus coach, a quarterback versus quarterback, and maybe a D line versus the offensive line guy. This week, I will go last on this, but I'll just let you know mine's a position versus another position, so it's not like a guy going versus another guy. Who's your guys' matchup this week before I do mine?
I just have the quarterbacks going against each other. I have Stafford versus Purdy. I mean, Stafford with the Lions, you sort of seen what he can do with at times minimal supporting cast, and so it's going to be one of those weeks for him. There's not going to be as many well-known receivers out there, but maybe he can help elevate those receivers to a level of play that they haven't been at. And then also with Purdy, I mean, there's always the question with Purdy, is he a systems quarterback? Because he's missing a couple of his pieces with his running back and his number one receiver. So I think the verdict's still out on is he a systems quarterback? So I think the battle between the quarterbacks is going to be a big one, and which one's going to be able to elevate their team to success this week.
Okay. I'm gonna let Dylan definitely say his matchup before I shut down your system quarterback thing. Because I don't know if you saw my face change, but I'm not on that train. I'll never be on that train. Dylan, give me your matchup first.
So I kind of went a little bit of a different route. My matchup this week is going to be Sean McVay versus Kyle Shanahan. I think both of these teams are pretty banged up right now, obviously, and I think it'll be interesting to see what they put on the field this week and what they're able to produce, specifically offensively. So I think these two have a lot to prove right now. Neither team has got off to, I think, a start that they have wanted to. And it's obviously a pretty big rivalry right now. So I think it'll be interesting to see what these coaches put on the field.
Okay. Justin, let me touch base on that Brock Purdy situation. This guy is leading the league in most of quarterback stats since taking over. I understand he has weapons around him, but everyone has weapons around them. It's the NFL. There's great players on every team. So I don't want to get on a detour of this, but I will touch base on that throughout the season on this podcast and just point out reasons why Brock Purdy's not a system quarterback. So you'll see this weekend for sure on Sunday. Just pay attention a little bit. My matchup though is Kyren Williams versus Jordan Mason. I love Kyren Williams. He went to my favorite school, Notre Dame. So I've always been a Kyren Williams fan. Jordan Mason being a third string guy to start this year. Now in our starting running back role, he's gone for over 100 yards in both weeks and found the end zone both weeks. So I'm looking forward to this. I think both running backs kind of have a better day. just due to you guys not having many receivers, and then us focusing on the run game a lot as we normally do. With that being said, who will win and what will the score be? You guys just shoot your score and shoot the winner. And you guys can be honest if you don't think the Rams are going to win, but if you guys do, by all means, say your score. Justin, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so I have the Rams winning. Yeah, I have the Rams winning by a score of 24-23. So I think it's gonna be a close game for sure. But I have the Rams taking it.
Dylan?
Um, I think the Rams are going to be desperate. I think they can't get off to 0-3 start. Um, so I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think, but I do still have the 49ers winning. I'm going to have a final score of 30-24 Niners.
Okay. Um, I have the Niners winning, and I have a score of 28-15. Um, I think they definitely cover the spread on this one, and the spread's high for a reason. I think a lot of faith is in the Niners this weekend, especially at Levi South. Um, as you guys know, we take over that stadium.
Can't argue
So
there.
I didn't think you guys would be able to argue that one. Let's just quickly do our look ahead to next week in the NFL. We don't need too much explanation on this one. I'm gonna give you my dog matchup and game of the week all in one, and then Dylan, you could go, then Justin, you could go. My dog of the week next week is gonna be Trevor Lawrence. I see him taking the Jags into Buffalo and upsetting them. And if they're gonna upset Buffalo, it's gonna have to be with a dog performance from Trevor Lawrence. Matchup, I have Will Levis versus Malik Willis. I think this one's just kind of funny in a sense that Titans let Malik Willis walk in a sense by trading him for absolutely nothing. And he's going to come in to Tennessee this weekend and hand them an L and walk or fly back to Green Bay with a dub. So unless Jordan Love comes back, but I don't think he is. He's still pretty doubtful. So I like that matchup. Game of the week, I see the Eagles versus Saints being the game of the week. Other than our game, of course, because I think our game's truly the game of the week. Eagles versus Saints. Saints have 91 combined points in the first 2 weeks, and the Eagles are supposed to be good, a playoff team. I think this is a real test for both of them to see where they're really at. Dylan?
So my dog of the week, I'm gonna keep rolling with the Saints. I like Derek Carr to keep doing his thing, and I like the Saints to beat the Eagles in that game. My matchup of the week, I like Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott. I think both of those guys are coming off some pretty brutal losses, and I think it will be interesting to see who's going to bounce back and take the W there. And then my game of the week is going to be the Lions at the Cardinals. I think both of these teams have been playing really well, and I really am high on Arizona this year. So I think this is going to be a really good game this week.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, dude. Thank you for that list. Thank you for the game of the week because I definitely wanted to hear about that game. Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, so my dog of the week in the NFL is gonna be Travis Kelce. Everyone knows who he is, but I think he's still gonna go out there and be a dog this week with the Falcons. I'm anticipating a lot of blitz, so I'm thinking a lot of short routes for Kelce. That he's going to be able that Mahomes is going to be able to get off to him, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see a highlight all next week of Patrick Mahomes throwing some crazy pass to Kelce in this next week. And then with
Okay.
the matchup, I have Stroud versus Darnold. Yeah, that one. Two really good quarterbacks. One's a sophomore in CJ Stroud versus someone that's trying to reestablish himself in Sam Darnold. So I want to see how that plays out between the two quarterbacks. And then the game of the week, just being a Rams fan, I'm really going to keep an eye on the Detroit versus the Arizona game. Both teams that just beat the Rams in the last 2 weeks, so I sort of want to see like the Rams hung with the Lions, and they sort of got smashed a little bit by the Arizona. So I want to see how good Arizona truly is going to be this year because obviously the Rams are going to have to play Arizona another time, being in their division. So I really want to see sort of where the Rams stand, where it was just a bad week last week for them and a really good week for Kyler Murray, or sort of if we got to start worrying a little bit more than what we already are. But I know that we'll get the ship right by the end of the year because we're gonna have guys get healthy.
Okay. Yeah, I like all both your guys' picks, your games, all that. I will note both of what you guys just said and see how accurate we are. I won't have you guys on the show next week, but I will make sure to let them know how accurate you guys were at your dogs, your games, and if they lived up to the hype, really. To end our show, for the people that are listening for the first time that are Dylan's friends, Justin's friends, I like to do pick 'em, and we do it from our Can't Lose show and kind of just have fun with it. It's only $10, and we're just gonna go a speed round. Like I want to do this in less than like 2 minutes, in a sense. We're gonna go down this list, and you guys are just gonna say your winner, and we'll see who's more accurate. I'll make a little spread, and kind of out of the three of us have a little mini competition. So New England versus the Jets. I have Jets. Go ahead.
Jets.
I also have the Jets.
Sweet. New York Giants versus Cleveland. I have Cleveland.
I also have Cleveland.
I have Cleveland as well.
Okay. And guys, it's not bad if we have the same team. We're just looking at the schedule and it might line up that we have all the same picks. I don't know how this is going to work out. Chicago, Indy. I have Indianapolis on this one.
I have the Bears.
Okay.
I have the Bears as well.
Okay. Maybe mine's an upset call then. Houston, Minnesota. I have Minnesota.
I have Minnesota.
I like Minnesota as well.
Okay. Uh, Philadelphia Eagles versus New Orleans Saints. I have the Saints in this one.
I think the Saints are going to stay hot.
I agree. I'm riding with the Saints.
Hell yeah. Chargers at Pittsburgh. I have Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert. Let's go.
Also, I agree with that. I like those two together.
I have the Chargers as well this week.
Okay. Denver, Tampa Bay. I have Tampa Bay in this one.
Yeah, I have the Buccaneers. I think it's a no-brainer.
I have the Buccaneers as well.
Okay. Green Bay versus Tennessee.
I have Green Bay.
Okay.
I have Green Bay also.
All right. The next game is Carolina and Vegas. I have Vegas in this game.
I have the Raiders.
I actually have Carolina to upset the Raiders this week.
Is it because Andy Dalton's taking over or what?
I just feel like it's the most Raiders thing ever to beat the Ravens and then lose to the Panthers.
That is funny, but I don't think you're far off on that one at all. And I actually have a few Raiders fans that I know of that tune into this. So I will get a couple texts once I get to this point in the episode tomorrow, and they're gonna be like, "Who is this Dylan guy saying we're gonna lose to Carolina?" Hey,
We'll
Raider
see.
fans, it wasn't me that said it, but I definitely agree. So if you're gonna come at Dylan, come at me too. Miami, Seattle. Miami is my pick on this one.
I got Seattle because Tua's not going to be in.
Okay.
I have Seattle also. I think they're pretty tough at home.
Okay. I don't know if you guys listened to Jace's podcast from Up Your Score, but I was on his podcast yesterday and he was actually kind of surprised I picked Miami as well. And I just think it's just because Mike McDaniel, if he finds a way to get Tyreek Hill the ball quick and maybe even behind the line of scrimmage, I think he could do something special, and I think it makes up for Tua not being there. But yeah, I'm definitely shooting for the stars on this one. It might be the game that separates me from our count in this. I don't know, just maybe. Detroit, Arizona. Like you guys were saying earlier in the episode, this game is a meaningful game. It kind of shows where some teams are at because you've already had certain teams play other teams, and now these two teams are lining up. I have Arizona on this, and I believe it would be an upset according to ESPN because Detroit is favorite.
Yeah, I have the Lions winning, and I sort of need them to win as a Rams fan because then it knocks Arizona down in the division a little bit, makes it more
Okay.
attainable for the Rams later in the year.
I have Arizona winning this game.
Okay. Baltimore at Dallas. Just a little lead up to this game. Baltimore coming off 0-2, Dallas 1-1. It's hard to say Baltimore is going to start off 0-3, but I do have Dallas winning this game. And I hate picking that because besides the Rams, who else do I hate more? It's Dallas. And I hate picking them any week, but I see them winning.
I have Baltimore winning. I mean, they played two close games, so I think they're finally going to put it together for four quarters the whole time.
Okay.
I also have Dallas winning. I think it's gonna be. I don't see Dallas losing 2 games at home in a row.
Okay. Next up, we already touched on this game. But just so I could hear a Rams fan say that he has the Niners one more time, San Francisco versus the Rams. I have the Niners in Levi South.
I have the Rams winning, man. Kyron Williams is going to run for 100 yards, and the offensive or the pass game is going to get it figured out, and we're gonna be just fine. We're gonna win 24-23. Don't forget,
I like
clip that,
I like
Trent.
your
Clip that.
confidence. I will for sure.
Justin, I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong, but uh, I think the history is not in our favor. So I do have the Niners, unfortunately.
Okay. Honest man there.
We're
Honest
starting a new
man.
streak this weekend, Dylan. We're starting a new streak.
There we go. I like that.
uh, Kansas City, Atlanta. I have KC in this one, but I would not be surprised if Atlanta wins. Coming off a big win against the Eagles, but I got KC.
Yeah, I also have the Chiefs. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, so I think it's hard to bet against that guy.
I also have the Chiefs as well. I think kind of the same thing as you, Trent. I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta won, but definitely gonna pick the Chiefs.
Okay. We get blessed with 2 Monday Night Football games this week. So instead of me sitting on the couch for one, I get to sit on it for two and put work aside and not do work. So Jacksonville, Buffalo. Like I said earlier in the episode, I have Jacksonville upsetting Buffalo, and getting on the win column here.
Yeah, I have the Bills as well. I think the Bills have clicked early, and Jacksonville's trying to figure it out still, and I don't think they figured it out this week.
Okay, before Dylan gives his thing, I believe I misspoke. I said I have the Bills. I have Trevor Lawrence and the Jags upsetting the Bills. My bad. I misspoke. I definitely caught that. I realized that. So, yeah, I got Jacksonville.
I have Buffalo in this game. I like Buffalo.
Okay. To end the week, we have the Commanders at Cincinnati, and all because we all went to Sonora High School. Having a former teammate, Chiggy, on the Commanders. He's on the practice squad, but they have two corners on the injury report as questionable. So if they were downgraded to doubtful out, I think that definitely puts him in line to get the call up to be able to play in this game. So from an outside person looking in, I'm hoping the Commanders play well and he's in the game. But unfortunately, I have Cincinnati winning this game.
Yeah, as a proud Sonora alumni, I also hope Chiggy gets a chance this game, and if not, some point during the season. I personally know him. I played Little League with him actually, so I hope nothing but the best for him. But I also have Joe Burrow doing well this week when leading the Bengals to a win.
Okay.
I'm right there with both of you. I'd love to see him get out there and play. But I do have the Bengals winning this one.
Okay. That completes this week's pick'ems. And really, since we have a little bit of time, what's your guys's honestly, I have no idea if you guys are at home, at school, wherever you guys are. Are you guys going to the game? Are you watching it from home, watching it with family? What do you guys got plans for this weekend?
Yeah, I'm watching this one with my dad at home. Yeah, I mean it's always one of those ones you mark on your calendar when you see the Rams are playing the 49ers, just because I mean a lot of my friends are 49ers. Trent, you're one of my friends, you're a 49ers fan. I have other 49er friends. And it's just all you just like talking smack with them the whole week leading up to it. So it's
Okay.
always something you have marked on your calendar. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching with my dad.
Okay. And thank you for clarifying that we're friends, Justin. I I didn't question it, but thank you for clarifying.
Just
uh,
wanted it on record.
Dylan, where are you watching the game at this weekend?
So this weekend, I'm gonna catch hopefully the first half at my house, but then I'll actually be going to Universal Studios, so I've got the charger packs ready to watch the rest of the game at Horror Nights later that evening.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun for sure.
Yeah,
Um, I will be watching it with my dad, similar to Justin. We were gonna get tickets for this game, and we just decided not to. Let's just probably have a barbecue at the house and watch it on the TV instead of sitting all the way at the top. It just will work out better this way and kind of enjoy the game a little bit more this way. So that's kind of
definitely.
my plans. Um, Other than that, guys, I just want to say thank you for jumping on this. As you see, I'm riding solo this year. I'm gonna have Josh on a couple times, kind of like a guest like you guys. So to have friends that just are willing to jump in a week's notice, it means a lot and I'm much appreciated. If you guys want to say anything before we head out, that's cool. If not, no worries. Let me know.
Hi mom, hi dad.
Yeah, thanks for having
No,
me
thanks
on.
Trent for having us.
It's been fun, and I hope I'm wrong. And go Rams, baby.
Yes, sir.
All right, go Niners. Thank you guys for listening. This is episode 3, season 3. Before we go, I got to always give thanks to our sponsors. So, shout out to everyone that makes this possible. And it's been a fun episode. And I hope you guys got smarter and got a couple laughs in it. And Dylan, Justin, thank you. Deuces.
Later.